So Watson's out there. Wentz moves, and the Niners is like, you still haven't done anything this offseason. So the next day, they promote Adam Peters from director of personnel to assistant general manager. They create a new position for this Adam Peters guy. He's now assistant general manager. If he was breathing down John Lynch's neck before, now he's basically in his lap. And the thing about Peters is he interviewed around the league for vacant GM jobs. He interviewed in Carolina. I think he interviewed in maybe Denver as well and didn't get the job. So the Niners kept him and promoted him. What do you think of that?
I think John Lynch better look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, look, again, Iggy, I'm not there anymore. I don't talk to John Lynch, although I knew him as a young man and really liked him and admired him. I don't feel gut feeling that he is on solid ground there. I.e., he only got a 2-year extension and the other guy got a 3. Plus, they never announced it, Iggy. I mean, you give an extension to your general manager and don't have a press release.
And they had a press release for Adam Peters.
They had a press release?
Oh, I swear, yes, they do. They did have a press release for Adam Peters. No press release for John Lynch. The extension they gave John Lynch begrudgingly.
Oh, so Iggy, there are cracks in that foundation. Now,
absolutely.
Having said that, I am not John Lynch's agent, so I need to ask a further question. Is Adam Peters good at what he does?
Who the hell knows? That is the $1 million question. And East Bay Chris has a long running gag on Twitter. Like all the bad things that the Niners have done are John Lynch's fault, and all the good things the Niners have done go to Adam Peters. Like Solomon Thomas, that was clearly a John Lynch pick, but George Kittle must have been an Adam Peters pick because everyone likes Adam Peters for no reason. But the funny thing is, he interviewed for the GM job at Carolina. I'm sure Carolina in the interview asked, so who in that brain trust, was it you that wanted Solomon Thomas? Was it you who didn't want Patrick Mahomes? Was it you who want Reuben Foster? I mean, there's so many. And he'd have to be honest. And whatever he said, it didn't get him the job. So
Iggy, have you ever met Adam Peters?
No, absolutely not. He's never been made available to the media. You see him around. He's very handsome. He's tall. Used to be a player. And I think the feeling inside is that he's better at scouting than John Lynch, which I would imagine. I mean, he was a scout. Lynch never was a scout. Lynch was a player, but they hired John Lynch for a reason.
Hold on a minute. You say this Adam Peters is very handsome?
Yeah, he's tall. He's got good hair. He looks rich.
Okay. John Lynch is handsome too.
He is.
Now, Iggy, Kyle Shanahan is not handsome.
Not really, no.
I'm sorry.
No.
Handsome is you can get ahead. Now, look, I'm not handsome. And
he's tall. He's got a good haircut, but he's got
handsome.
Yeah.
So you think he may get ahead because he's handsome? I
don't know what it is, but they like the image. They like the idea of Adam Peters.
Okay. You've never heard him talk?
Never. I don't know what he sounds like.
You see him on the field, but he doesn't talk to the media.
But again, the way I see him is it's not that they're promoting him and giving him more power. They're taking power away from Lynch. And when Lynch loses power, it goes to Kyle. So this guy would just be another guy who would, give Kyle suggestions, but not take decisions away from Kyle. That's the way I see
what you're saying.
Yeah.
When they promoted him, then they give him an extension?
I don't know if they gave him an extension, but they gave him a press release.
They gave him a press release, and they didn't give their general manager a press release.
That's all you need to know.
It stinks.
It stinks.
It stinks. And that's the thing. Could I just say something? You've heard me. That bunch, and I guess I'm talking about Jed York. They really don't do things in a diplomatic, grown-up way.
No, they don't. And there's an interview that came out a couple of years ago that's been surfacing on Twitter recently. East Bay Chris dug it up about Alex Smith, after he'd had success in Washington, and he was talking about why it didn't work out for him the first 6 years of his career. And he was just going on and on. It wasn't just the coaches. It wasn't just all the different coordinators. He said it was the culture of the building. It was the culture of the building. And he went on, and it was the culture of the building. I mean, no one really communicates. No one's on the same page. And that trickles down to the locker room. It's not one team. It's offense, defense, special teams. There's not a clear line of communication. There's not a clear goal. He was very clear about how he felt about the culture, and then it was awful. So
Iggy, and I want to say something. I know Alex Smith very well.
mhm,
He is such a gentleman.
mhm,
And it's interesting. Gentleman is a very interesting word, and the word gentle is in there.
yeah,
He's a gentleman, but he's a gentle soul.
yes,
He's a fierce competitor, but he's a gentle soul.
yeah,
And he is reluctant to criticize people. I've never heard him do it. So for him to be motivated to do that, he must have felt it really in his gut,
yeah,
real deep down. And you know what, Iggy? That's an indictment of the culture over there, which Jed and Parag Marate said. It's an indictment of them, clearly.
yes, no
And
question.
because these other people weren't there, it's an
No,
indictment of those two. And I would say, you know what? I take what Alex said. I didn't know he said it. In fact, it's kind of a blow right now that I'm hearing this. Iggy, I take it really seriously because I really, really admire and trust Alex Smith flat out.
yeah, and me too. And you think of the Niners, like they had the Harbaugh years, they had the Shanahan years. Like York's been a success, right? Well, they haven't had a winning season since they've had one winning season since 2013, and since
Yes.
2013, they've finished last in the NFC West every year except for 2 years. That was 2019 and 2018. And the one of the years that they didn't finish last, they finished 4-12. So they basically stink every single year, and there's a lot of hope and promise. But what is the constant? The culture. Jed York.
Iggy, the culture, it's the whole tone. And
Yeah.
it gets back to Harbaugh and Jed. Harbaugh, it can be very difficult and very strong-willed and strong-headed. It was a very bad match. But
Yeah.
you know, Jed had a winning coach. He had
Winning coaching staff, a winning program the whole way around. Yeah.
Yeah, and no matter what Harbaugh is doing at Michigan, it's a whole other deal. He was an elite NFL coach. And you know what, Iggy? It was Jed York's job to make it work.
Yeah, it was.
Get out of the way and make it work. And he didn't make it work, Iggy. And
he blew it up. Again, people forget about Harbaugh. He had Dom Sula, the best defensive line coach. He had Vic Fangio, the best defensive coordinator. Ed Donatel, the best DB coach. Mike Solari, the best offensive line coach. Greg Roman, who actually is decent at what he does. It was a very expensive and excellent head assistant coaching staff. And I don't know if Jed York liked spending all that money on all those people.
I don't know if he knows the difference. And then he got the butcher. Or Singletary. Singletary had a very bad coaching staff.
Yeah,
his coordinator was terrible.
That's right. And Tom Sula's was too. He's not connected. So he didn't get any of his first choices. He got a bunch of people who had nothing else going for him. And he ended up with a very cheap assistant coaching staff.